Hello everyone, this is going to be the first tutorial video I've ever done. I'm going to eventually be remaking this because I'm shooting it on an iPad and it's rather ungainly inside the Jeep. This is going to be about how to do a technique that I have developed over time. Whether there's an official name for it or not, I am not sure. I have heard people call it a double tap, double clutch downshift, or DTDC for short. It's a technique that's very good for riding your vehicle in mid to high range RPMs. This is obviously a 6-speed manual transmission. Got your pedals down there. Alright, gas, brake, and your clutch. Now, this technique combines what is commonly known as double clutch downshifting, which is an older technique that's used by vintage cars in order to save the synchronizers in your transmission, provide a smoother downshift, and provide less stress on the vehicle as a whole. 3 very good points that will help your vehicle last. Let's move on to the next segment. Alright, we're going to talk about shifter work here. In order to do the DTDC downshift, I'll use the example of moving from 4th gear to 3rd gear on a typical speed, which would be about 35 to 40 miles an hour. Later on, we're going to do this while moving, if I can find a way to hold the camera. So, basic idea. In order to do this downshift, most people, let's say, okay, right now I'm cruising in 4th gear. Most people are going to depress the clutch, and they're just going to push it forward into 3rd. You know, and then they let the clutch back up, and that's your typical downshift. Some people will do what's called a rev match, which is, as explained, let's say you're at 40 miles an hour in 4th gear. Your vehicle is going to be at roughly 2200 RPMs. Now, when doing a typical rev match, you would depress the clutch, and then you would rev and downshift as you normally would. Now, for a double clutch downshift, you work completely differently. You would be in 4th gear. Alright, you would depress the clutch, move it into neutral, clutch goes up. You release the pedal. Then you would rev match, clutch in, move to 3rd, and release the clutch again. We're not going to be doing that. For a double tap downshift, we're in 4th gear. We're going to work our pedals that exact same way. You move to neutral, clutch up, rev, clutch in, 3rd gear. Okay, it's very, very simple once you get the hang of it. You just have to practice. Now, the difference between this and your typical double clutch downshift is that instead of holding your RPMs, you're going to give 2 blips of the throttle. Now, the purpose of this is to bring your motor up to the desired RPMs while at the same time not forcing the transmission or the motor to sync up to those RPMs. As your RPMs are falling back down from your foot being off of the accelerator, the motor and transmission will work even more easily together to match your revs. An example: double clutch neutral. Okay, just 2 quick pumps. Now, that will work with most vehicles. By doing this, if you're already at 1800 RPMs cruising, you put the clutch in, you double tap, it brings you up to the perfect RPM to downshift, because in general, you will gain anywhere from 600 to, well, anywhere from 500 to 800 RPMs by downshifting. Moving on to the next section. Alright, this is all about footwork. Right now, I'm sitting in a lot, we're not moving, just so I can demonstrate this to you. what you'll be doing is, let's say you're driving along 4th gear, you want to downshift. So you simply move your foot to the clutch, depress it, move to neutral, let it go, double tap, depress the clutch, now move it out of neutral and into 3rd gear. Then depress the clutch. Going from neutral to 3rd typically has to be relatively quick, otherwise your RPMs will go back down to where they are idling and will cause you to be just as jerky as if you were doing your typical rough downshift that most people do. Alright, let's see if we can do this while driving. Now I'm at a stop sign. Let's turn over and do this again. 3rd gear. 4th gear. Downshift. It's that simple. Another one going. That's 4th gear. And let's downshift again. Neutral. Down you go. Hoping that you're all seeing this, because I really don't want to take this again until I get the new camera. I'm gonna cruise down here and we'll do it one more time. Next segment is going to be the shifter work itself. Clutch in, 3rd gear. Going around the corner. All need to go. Neutral. Down. While I'm doing that, I'm doing the technique I showed you before. To give you an idea of what I'm doing here, I'll show you I'm in 4th gear right now. Watch the RPM counter. Then that's it. That's the entire amount of time that it takes, that little blurb. Let's keep going here. Once I get a GoPro, I'll remake this video so that it looks a lot better than it does right now. Coming up on a stop sign, clutch in, neutral, double tap, clutch in, 3rd gear, release clutch, and then you're all good. Same thing as before. Let's do it one more time. Clutch in, neutral, double tap, clutch in, clutch out, 3rd gear at the same time, and you're all good.